Happy Sunday, Tumblr. It is 1 o'clock on November 18th. Um, sorry, it's kind of shiny. I am 2 days from being 8 months along in hormone replacement therapy. So I've been injecting once a week on Fridays. For almost 8 months, about 8 months. It's been great. This like there are very many changes. I don't think much has happened to my voice since probably around 6-7 months. Probably the most recent things are, ow. Most recent things are hair. And sideburns, and along the jaw, and right here, which is nice. I like it. Hair's creeping from my arm over my wrist, a little patch it here. And let's see. Leg hair filling in, stomach hair creeping up, chest hair slowly sprouting, vibrating. Let's see. That's about it. I don't know. Somebody asked me where I buy underwear. I wear Hanes because I'm a Chicago kid and Michael Jordan wears Hanes, so I've been wearing Hanes since I was like 17, 18. I just buy them in packs from Target. It's pretty cheap. Let's see, transition stuff. Starting a new job, which is cool and awkward at the same time because none of my name stuff is legal yet. So I have to have that conversation fairly frequently in the beginning, which is never fun. It's really, really expensive to change your name and stuff. Yeah, so it's like $500. There's a way to get a fee waiver, but it's a lot of hoops to jump through, and I don't really have the time and the resources right this minute, but it's definitely something in the back of my head. What else? Holidays are coming up. I'm not going home for Thanksgiving just because, well, honestly, I didn't want to be at home because I didn't want to shave. Because I shave fairly frequently before, November. It's a good way to, track progress, see how things come along within a month's time. Yeah, so that's why I'm not going home, and, so, you guys know, been, homeless on and off the last few years, and I've been staying with the family since June. A good friend of mine, her and her mom have been, taking really good care of me, showing me a lot of love, so I'm gonna hang out with them for Thanksgiving. I think that would be fun. See, I stopped binding. I told you guys. It's just been okay. I don't know. I don't think you really tell, but I know that you can at the same time. So, I don't have the money to even start to save for surgery or anything like that right now. I already spent like around $40-ish, $50 on my medication every few months, so it's a lot of money for me to spend. I only make about $100 a week, so it's a lot of money for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys didn't really ask me any questions. You guys asked me really, like, heavy questions. How did you know you were trans? And what's up with your family? um, I mean, I guess I can answer that. It's kind of dumb. The thing about, I may appear somewhat binary, where people aren't, I don't wear makeup, I don't cross dress, my pants aren't very tight, I'm not like a hipster, I don't wear really, like, I don't know, fashionable things, I don't comb my hair, not that those are binary things, but stereotypically so, I feel like, and, so, I appear rather binary, but my actual, associations with gender binary are not so obvious. I'm a cook and a baker by trade. I work with children and I really, really enjoy it. So my whole thought on transitioning, being transgender, genderqueer, gender fluid, anything like that is very personal. And anything that I say about my experience might have nothing to do with rules. It's gonna be a long time to finally like make the phone call and request a doctor to talk to about this sort of thing. I mean, I don't know. In 3rd grade, we had to write a persuasive paper. It was an introductory to persuasive papers, and we had to form an argument based upon whether it was better to be a boy or better to be a girl. I was the only female in the class at the time who wrote that it was better to be male. My reasoning at 8 years old was that men don't get pregnant, which I did as a negative thing. They don't menstruate, which I did. Whatever, it's not my issue anymore. And thirdly, men get to play in the NBA, and I had a really big problem with the WNBA as a kid because I didn't think it was fair that girls had to go to their own league to play. I wanted to see them play with the boys. But anyway, so little things like that I've reflected upon later in life, like, oh, 8-year-old me knew. When I was 18, I was dating a girl who was really, really afraid that I was going to transition or start to pursue a transition. She had dated an individual who was female identified when they started dating, and then not so much by the end of it. And this actually happened to her more than once, so she was apprehensive to say the least. Which I guess is fair to an extent. However, it led her to say some very hurtful things to me in regards to my own gender, the way that I viewed my body, and the way that I wanted to be treated by other people. I mean, she was kind of cool. She offered to like use male pronouns when we were alone and things like that to see how I'd like it. And but she'd always say things like, "Oh, don't transition. You're too pretty. Why does this always happen to me?" and that kind of thing. So that was a bummer, and I definitely felt like I had to sort of negate that part of me in order to keep her happy. Ironically, the next girl that I dated, those two girls are friends now. The next girl that I dated, same thing, like, you'll never pass, I won't be attracted to you anymore, you're too pretty to be a boy, things like that. And that sucked, because I was like super in love with that girl, and that sucked. And even more so ironically, both those girls are now friends that are both dating gender non-conforming people who identify somewhere on the trans spectrum, which is whatever. Yeah, that's hypocritical to say the least. Not really my place. Anyway, Yeah, so I had a lot of people in my life, and that was just the people who were immediately in my life. I've lived at home since I was 17, and I'm 23 now. Um, so I don't really think about my parents when it comes to this sort of thing. At the same time, now I'm in a position where, I mean, I talk to my grandma on the phone like at least once or twice a week, and at first she was asking me about my voice, and are you not feeling well? And, you know, what's going on with your voice, point blank. But I mean, now she's friends with my preferred name Facebook, which is kind of cool, kind of weird at the same time. I'm taking my last name from her paternal grandfather, like great grandfather, and I think she likes that, so that's kind of cool. But I didn't think about them when I was thinking about pursuing a transition, because my transition is not for my family, it's for me. And I'm out to my cousin and his mom, my aunt, and my grandma, like halfway, maybe a third of the way. So we'll see. I'm my grandma's favorite, and we both know it. Everybody knows it. I used to say it all the time when I was younger because I'm kind of a jerk. But I'm more worried about her husband, and I'm more worried about random parts of the family than I am about my mom or my grandma or whatever. My dad's also asked me some things. My dad and I are estranged. We don't talk for a lot of reasons. But he was abusive when I was a kid, and he has a piss poor attitude even now as an adult. So, Dad. I don't know if I'll ever talk to my dad about my transition. Yeah, so started those girlfriends that I mentioned were the first one when I was 18. I started binding. She called me he sometimes when people weren't around. But like I said, she was pretty vocal about not liking it, so I stopped binding. The next girl I dated, kind of the same thing. I just sort of expressed the fact that I didn't like being called a girl. Like when you're like out with your friends and they're like, "Come on, girls, let's go." Like, that sounds painful to me, almost like y'all are about to go get a pedicure or something. I don't know. So, I started looking into doctors when I was single not even spring before last, and eventually started seeing a girl who was involved with a trans person, of the opposite gender of myself, and so she sort of gave me the push, the confidence from a third party that I did need, to actually like pick up the phone and go. And so last spring, a year later, after I was actually looking at doctors, a year later I actually got my first shot, and that was March of 2012. So 8 months now. I've been talking for like 4 months.